Good, happy Sunday morning, January 2nd, 2022. I'm Riley King. Welcome to this Sunday morning edition of The Morning Show with Riley King. It's time to rise and shine and get this Sunday off to a good start. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this Sunday morning edition of The Morning Show with Riley King, where we have a little bit of everything for you in this program. So let's get started right now. First up, states across the country mark the start of 2022 with new laws going into effect. Let's take a listen to that video from CBS News.
January 1st is typically a day when laws passed in the previous year go into effect. Christina Ruffini has a look at some across the country that are going on the books.
From marijuana to minimum wage.
$15.88, please.
States across the country are ringing in 2022 with new laws that will go into effect in the new year. The nation's capital will join 15 states where recreational pot is legal. You can get high in Big Sky or buy grass in the Garden State.
Today we are ending a 90-year prohibition.
And New York will become the second largest state after California, where it's legal to light up. And while the federal minimum wage has stayed stuck at $7.25 an hour since 2009, 25 states will be upping theirs in the next year, with most topping $10 an hour. In California, pigs will get better pens and chickens will be able to spread their wings with tough new welfare regulations for farm animals in the state, although they're likely to be challenged in court. Washington State and Delaware will restrict single-use plastic, including bags and takeout utensils. Connecticut will allow granny pods or garage apartments to be rented out in residential areas and single-family homes.
Thank you guys for supporting me.
And in Illinois, Haley Martinez inspired a new law that will allow kids under 16 to run a lemonade stand without a permit after hers was shut down by the health department.
If she's got the initiative to run a lemonade stand, she should be able to make a little money running a lemonade stand.
City leaders gave her a new, better lemonade stand now that her pores are all above board. For CBS Saturday Morning, Christina Ruffini, Washington.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Biden to speak with Ukrainian president aimed rising tensions with Russia. Let's take a listen to that video from CBS News.
President Biden is spending New Year's weekend at his home in Wilmington, Delaware, and he's facing rising tensions with Russia to begin 2022. On Friday, he spoke to reporters about his phone call this week with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Skylar Henry is at the White House with the latest. Skylar, good morning.
Hey, Elise, good morning to you and a happy new year to you as well. Well, it was a relatively quiet week for President Biden. However, he did have that hour-long phone call with Russian President Vladimir Putin. It was a call requested by the Kremlin. The two men discussed the ongoing concerns at the Russian-Ukrainian border, as well as other security issues. It was the second time the two spoke in the last few weeks. White House officials also say President Biden will be speaking with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky at some point tomorrow, reaffirming the U.S.'s support for Ukraine's sovereignty. That meeting stems from growing fears of a Russian invasion into Ukraine. Now, Moscow stays around 100,000 troops along Ukraine's border, but denies imminent invasion. In early December, Russia removed around 10,000 troops from the area. However, those with intelligence suspect a possible invasion in the coming weeks, while Russian officials have downplayed that, saying that is not their intent. Now, President Biden was asked about that yesterday when he and the First Lady were out to lunch. He said that he made it clear to Putin that if an invasion were to happen, there would be severe sanctions and an increased U.S. presence in Europe with NATO allies. Now, President Biden also said that Russia has agreed to 3 conferences in Europe, starting in Geneva in 9 days. President Biden also adding that progress would only continue if President Putin de-escalated the situation on the Ukrainian border. President Biden and President Putin meeting again on January 10th to continue those security talks. Elise?
A lot to keep watching. Skylar Henry at the White House. Thanks.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. New Year's celebrations toned down as COVID cases hit record highs nationwide. Let's take a listen to that video from CBS News.
Yo, dude, you need some help? Don't worry about me.
Before we get to our special New Year's Day show, we want to get a check of this morning's headlines from our CBS News Broadcast Center. Elise Preston joins us with the very latest. Elise? Thanks, Dana, and good New Year's Day to everyone. Well, 2022 is our 3rd calendar year of dealing with the coronavirus pandemic. Here in New York City, there were only about 15,000 revelers in Times Square to see the ball drop to ring in the new year. It comes as COVID cases here have skyrocketed in recent weeks. At the Vatican this morning, crowds were limited as Pope Francis conducted a New Year's Day Mass. On Friday, the Pope canceled his traditional New Year's Eve visit to the nativity scene in St. Peter's Square to discourage large crowds from forming. Nationwide in the U.S., the average number of new cases has nearly quadrupled since December 1st. That's when the Omicron variant was first detected in the United States.
So with the Omicron tsunami, I think we've been calling it.
New Jersey's governor is in a chorus of officials likening the skyrocketing rise of Omicron variant cases with extreme weather conditions. 15 states are seeing record new case counts. Nationally, more than 2 million coronavirus cases were reported in 1 week.
And we also know that this is likely an undercount, as many residents testing positive through at-home antigen tests aren't necessarily reporting those cases.
Getting a test at all has resulted in long waits.
In like 2 hours, especially if you're whether you're by yourself or if you're in a car full of kids.
In Washington, D.C., the line stretched for blocks to get a free rapid COVID-19 home test kit on New Year's Eve. But celebrating has been cut short in some places. San Francisco and Atlanta canceled public events. And today's Rose Parade won't have this Kaiser Permanente float because 20 frontline medical workers set to be on it were moved to treat patients.
Our hospitals right now are at roughly the same numbers they were on the worst day of last winter's surge.
And as holiday vacations wrap up, so many airline workers testing positive continue to disrupt flights.
Hopefully we can make this one. It's coming up.
Delayed again.
It's delayed again.
Yeah.
More than 1,500 flights were canceled Friday. Meanwhile, the State Department is warning people traveling abroad may face unexpected challenges while trying to return to the U.S. and should make contingency plans. And consider this when making a New Year's resolution.
If we aren't all taking this seriously, we're going to be in the same rotation for a really long time.
Early indications from South Africa, where Omicron first emerged, may offer a bit of hope. The rate of cases is declining just weeks after it first appeared. Health officials here have indicated that could be the situation here.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And we are going to switch gears now, and let's go to weather. And let's take a look at the weather across the United States for this Sunday. Happy Sunday, everyone. As you can see, this blue shade here is mixed precipitation. And then in the red here, you're seeing some heavy rain / flash flooding possible. Down in the green here, you're seeing some rain / thunderstorms. And in the little red, heavy rain / flash flooding possible. And then over here is dry, all dry. And down here is dry as well. Over here, some mixed precipitation. And in regular green, just plain old rain. in the white snow, and in the shaded is heavy snow possible, as you can see, and snow way up here as well. And you got a high pressure system and low pressure system as well. And that is a look at the weather across the United States for this Sunday. Happy Sunday, everyone. And we are going to switch gears now. And we're going to take a look at this. How to set your resolutions and actually stick to them in 2022. Let's take a look.
This holiday, Verizon has the deal that gets better and better and better.
Get iPhone 13 Pro on us when you trade in your old or damaged phone.
Better? Hey. And up to $1,000 when you switch. Because everyone deserves better.
If you are like a lot of people, you start every new year with some resolutions, whether it's eating better, sleeping more, saving a little extra money, or all of the above, perhaps.
Yeah, it's easier said than done for most, and a lot of them go by the wayside by the time February rolls around if you're lucky. So what can you do to stick with them this time? Jay Shetty is a former monk turned mindfulness expert, and he is here with some answers this morning. Jay, good morning. Happy New Year to you. It's so nice to see you. I think a lot of people are still processing 2020, to say nothing of 2021, and already it's 2022. So it's a new year. What is your overall advice for folks who are looking ahead to make this a good year, and how do you set smart goals for yourself?
Well, good morning and Happy New Year. I think this year I want people to try something different. I want us to switch from goal setting to growth setting. When you set a goal, you set an achievement or a result, and that doesn't really help you get there. But when you set growth, it's about building a skill or learning a new habit. So, for example, if your goal is to get more healthy, maybe the growth is you need to develop focus or discipline. If you start to work on that using growth above goals, you're more likely to achieve your goal in the long term. So switch to growth setting this year.
I love that idea of a growth setting. I think the question, Jay, for a lot of people is, how do you stay motivated to work towards your growth setting beyond January? What advice do you have?
Well, one of the biggest mistakes we make is we try and solve everything all at the same time. And the idea is actually to focus on one thing at a time. So take one thing for the month of January. Take one thing for the first quarter of the year. Don't try and add too many things. And the second thing is take a small step. Don't try and wake up an hour earlier or start going to the gym 7 days a week. Just try and make a small step in the right direction, and that incremental step will add up to big results.
And Jay, okay, let's look ahead. It's 6 months from now. Maybe it's July, or to be more honest, it's probably February or March, and all of a sudden, a lot of those resolutions, those goals, that growth has been pushed aside. So how do you sort of refocus yourself to recapture some of that growth you've eyed?
Absolutely. The first thing is that we have to be compassionate with ourselves. And chances are what we're missing is a coach or coaching. We don't have a direction. It may be the time to invest in a course, to work with a coach, a mentor, to speak to someone who's a few steps ahead. The second thing is to learn from why it went wrong. Maybe you didn't have consistency or commitment in your life. Maybe you weren't going to a class every week or committing to an online program that allowed you to build that sustainable result. And finally, start from where you left off. You haven't lost anything. We get really lost in our own cycle of shame and guilt, feeling that we've lost something. But to be honest, we haven't. Release that, find a community, and get going again with other friends and people around you.
Jay Shetty, you always give us awesome advice. We're grateful, especially early on January 1st. So nice to see you. Thanks so much, my friend.
Nice to see you both. Happy New Year.
Okay, and there you go. And let's take a look at this. Film, TV, and more entertainment to look for in 2022. Let's take a look.
This holiday, Verizon has the deal that gets better and better and better.
Get iPhone 13 Pro on us when you trade in your old or damaged phone.
Better?
Better.
Hey. And up to $1,000 when you switch. Because everyone deserves better.
You could say 2022 will be the year of the comeback.
Vengeance.
Not just for famous movie franchises like Batman and Jurassic World, or returning TV series.
I was wondering if we'd meet again.
Like Bridgerton and This Is Us.
It's the little things I'm not ready to let go of yet.
2022 is also a comeback for us, entertainment lovers. We're expected to fill movie theaters and pack music venues of all sizes, like Irving Plaza in New York.
It strikes me, we're standing right here. There's a stage right there. Wow, right? Incredible.
Michael Wisher is Chief Operating Officer at Ticketmaster. He is definitely not downplaying expectations for next year.
We fully expect 2022 to be the greatest year in live entertainment history.
He says Ticketmaster has already sold 65 million tickets for events in 2022. Festivals like Coachella and Stagecoach plan to return. Several big-name artists are going on tour. Billie Eilish, Shawn Mendes, Alicia Keys, Bad Bunny, Justin Bieber, and more.
Artists keep on coming to the table for longer and bigger tours, and consumers keep showing up to buy tickets.
You think 2022 could be better than pre-pandemic levels?
The way we're looking at it right now is that 2022 is poised to set a new bar for what can be achieved across the entire live entertainment industry.
While demand grows, so does the number of COVID cases. So fans need to remember some venues and artists may require proof of vaccination or a negative COVID test. Movie chains also hope to rebound. When theaters reopened in 2021, movie selection was thin, and so were the crowds. That gradually changed. Cinemark says October's box office more than doubled May's numbers, fueled by big-budget films like the latest Bond flick, No Time to Die. 2022 promises even more blockbusters. The 4th John Wick movie, the 5th Indiana Jones film, and the 7th Mission Impossible. But we might be getting out of the house more. Don't think we're dumping our TVs. 49% of American viewers say they've been watching more TV since the pandemic began. And in 2022, they'll have more to see. Favorites like Stranger Things, The Crown, and The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel will all return.
It's changed the business.
Plus new shows like Lord of the Rings and the Game of Thrones prequel, House of the Dragon, breathing fire and life into the entertainment kingdom. For Today, Joe Fryer, NBC News.
So no lack of good options, obviously, heading into 2022. What are you most looking forward to seeing?
So one might surprise you. Ozark, it's a little bit of a mystery, but I love that show. And then, of course, The Crown.
Yeah,
no
clearly it's not The Crown that's the one that surprises me for you. I'm eyeing Winning Time. That's that new show about the LA Lakers dynasty from the 1980s. John C. Reilly, Adrian Brody are in it. I think that should be fun as well.
Sports and the 80s, that's what you're about. All right, well, we'll look forward to all of that.
Okay, and there you go. And we are going to switch gears now, and let's go into some entertainment news. In entertainment news, remembering the long and laugh-filled legend of Betty White. Let's take a look right now.
Grandma? Grandma?
President Biden is one of many Americans fondly remembering Betty White. The legendary actress and comedian died Friday, just 17 days shy of her 100th birthday. Bill Whitaker has a look at her long and hilarious legacy.
Marianne, it's Betty White.
Betty White's career spanned from the 30s until now.
I never go away.
Betty Marion White was born in 1922 in Oak Park, Illinois. She first appeared on an experimental TV station in Los Angeles in 1939, hosting a live variety show in 1949, and starring in sitcoms in the 1950s. In the 60s, she hosted the Tournament of Roses parade and appeared on almost every game show you can think of. Then came the role that was made for her. Mary Tyler Moore even said, "We need someone who can play sickeningly sweet like Betty White." White played Sue Ann Nivens, sickeningly sweet on the outside and scheming, conniving, lustful, hilarious on the inside.
Did you crash the men's room? Of course not. I went as somebody's guest.
She was so good as Sue Ann, with 2 Emmy Awards, that she was offered much the same role in The Golden Girls, the sassy, man-hungry Blanche. But the director changed her to the opposite, the sweet, naive Rose.
I got him a golf club. But don't tell him, it's a surprise.
But Betty White didn't really become America's senior citizen sweetheart until a candy bar commercial in 2010.
You're playing like Betty White out there. That's not what your girlfriend said. Baby!
Suddenly, America couldn't get enough of White, a sweet old lady with a naughty, raunchy side. Thanks to hundreds of thousands of fans on Facebook, White became the oldest host on Saturday Night Live at age 88.
I didn't know what Facebook was. And now that I do know what it is, I have to say, it sounds like a huge waste of time.
She ended up starring in the sitcom Hot in Cleveland, which once reunited her with her old co-stars.
You're never too old for anything. Well, maybe some things, but...
Betty White was never old at all. Bill Whitaker, CBS News, Los Angeles.
She will be missed. Tomorrow, CBS Sunday Morning will take a deeper look at Betty White's incredible life and career.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. She will be very missed. And that does it for this Sunday morning edition of The Morning Show with Riley King. Thank you for tuning in and watching The Morning Show with Riley King. Have a great rest of your Sunday and see you back here tomorrow for another edition of The Morning Show with Riley King. Bye now.